phone keeps acting weird. It keeps, turning off. I know I have a lot of stuff on my cell phone, but usually I'll know it, right before it turns off. But with that being said, it's been mad weird. I walked past that certain point and, I was told that I wouldn't be able to see what's going on. I was told, for instance, after, I brought the new phone and after I got this cell phone fixed and all of that, my whole spirit team got decimated and I wouldn't be able to see it through my third eye. It was already compromised because from what I understand, right before I walked out, the royal family, they did somewhere, they used a roach attachment, somebody from around here and opened up my consciousness to where they could come in and started pilfering shit and were setting themselves up to be my higher to highest selves. I was told by Baron Samedi I should have just, and I was working with my third eye, and the road spirits is hard because of how this shit here with these Atlas aliens, I know how to defeat them. I know exactly what they are. From what I understand, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. They don't, a lot of people, they're quick to put blame on Pinedar reptilians. But like from what I saw a couple of days ago, I actually freed Pinedar. He was a nice reptilian who wanted a lot of power, who made a deal with the seer cards. And I talk about it on my blog. You use 7,000 hertz. I was using 7,000 combined with 1150 hertz to, do something about it. 735 hertz can also work. Hopefully that don't work against my road spirits. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if those are my entity attachments. So she can steal my successorship to it. Dorothy Harrison right there. With that being said, she went about making the deal. They went about setting me up to be a sacrifice. I actually tried to make her a sacrifice and tried to annul them soul contracts using 1215 hertz by trying to go into the spirit plane as much as possible and couldn't. Almost could, definitively, but my conscience. But I felt what it was like to no longer be a sacrifice, and I saw her being placed as a sacrifice. With that being said, it freed Pinedar. We were originally under our ancestors, which is best. The Rothschilds were saying themselves, "You fucking Mansa Musa and shit, bitch. You bigger than us. We ain't shit. We were just pig farmers, and we got our powers from extraterrestrial spirits who rule us through our soul consciousness and everything else. We ain't shit compared to you. That's why they envy blacks, the Africans, the source, and all that shit, and really everybody on Earth, and hates us. And have nothing but contempt. I heard, they're not even human. Patty Hearst supposedly went to keep hearing something say, went to a ball, that Rothschild's ball in 1972, and they were saying themselves that it's too much. That they were turning non-human when they started drinking. So with that being said, every time I try to post this video, it keeps getting blotted out. I keep getting fucked with really, really fucking bad like I am right now. And I'm getting attacked, having all this shit with... But anyways, with that being said, I came close to killing them in the spirit plane. Very, very, very fucking close. Very close. But the shit keeps getting elusive, and I actually had a friend of mine predict that back in the day that I would do something that would almost kill their asses, but somebody else will come along that will fuck them up. And like I say, this shit is important because, like I saw, just like, Eminem and all of them saw, and they killed them off, got consciousness from what I understand like mine, where they in sentient, they see nothing but white, like they're trying to get with me right now. Thank goodness I got spiritual protection, but in their case, they saw us all getting cloned, our souls being placed in clones. That's why you got the Zeta Reticuli clone-like beings and shit. People call them alien grays, clones. Because they plan on using her to steal Hikate's power. They're supposed to be under the Hikate. Not really under, but have nothing to do with her. Separate from them. Steal Hikate's powers. Bring under him, the Egyptians or some shit like that. To bring about a world cataclysm. That's why they're trying to work with Zendaya. Steal my Hikate successorship and shit. Give my powers over to her. So that in that, timeline, they can do that, bring about that apocalypse shit. That's why I was seeing images of Los Angeles underwater, Asia, all sorts of places fucked up. What they call you Erasmus, and started disseminating it. Not that, but it's something else. The Kundalini, the back of your spine. I think it's the same. But they started disseminating it. And I heard they were trying to make me, because of the, thing with Hikate and all of that, a sacrifice for that. I heard that it was something Halliburton, a Hybrid or something, a German lady. Her and her husband, David Rain or something, they run a house where they make people sacrifices to Hikate, and they couldn't fully do that to me because I'm supposed to be the successor or some shit like that, and I'm supposed to go through this and prove my word. A couple of days ago, I was trying to get back in my body. Hopefully it wasn't too little and too late. And looking back on it, I wish it's compromised and it's fucked up. It's hard when somebody is acting in the energy of your higher to higher self. I wish I would have gotten rid of Cassandra Nunes. That is the derivation for all this shit. I don't know if I was getting back in my body yesterday. I don't know. It's just so much deception going on within internally because I'm so compromised. That's why I don't like doing tarot readings for people. Because I'm fucked up. But, with that being said, the Rothschilds were discussing with the seer cards to make me a sacrifice. And, when I did something, it was my rose spirits primarily who did it. When I did something in the spirit plane, when they did it really in the spirit plane to try to free people, we were working with Santa Muerte. She was helping us. They happened upon something where the Windsors and them, and the Rothschilds primarily, they were formerly pig farmers or something. They stole their power. That's how the Romanovs, that's how the Pahlavis, that's Pahlavis of Iran, that's how they all fell. And I think the Iranians were smart. They made a deal with Allah. They didn't fuck with that reptilian evil shit. They were like, nah. Saudi government, Saudi royals. But anyways, the Habsburgs and all of them, they were the fiercest fighters because they saw them coming. They saw the shit coming. They were like, we don't want no part of it. They disseminated all the other royal families after making a direct deal with the Windsor Mountbattens, who keep trying to make themselves, I saw in the spirit plane my higher self, just like as I saw, with my parents becoming, a next life curse. I was told they threw my mother off 3-eye Atlas because she was just, you can always heal somebody with 3517 hertz, 3517 hertz combined with 1115 hertz. If you can't find somebody, 1115 hertz. 117 hertz combined with 800 hertz. When I was getting fucked with in the middle of the night, I started playing that. so I can get my shit back. You know, if somebody part of your bloodline, like in my case, Baron Samedi, that can help a little. Archangels and all that, revive them. And hopefully they don't use that knowledge against me. But it did something to render them, and I felt it in real time, render the mother, ancient royal families back their power. And from what I understand, the Rothschilds were going over, they were taking over and going over to the royal family, saying, here, we'll give you all this power. Like I said before, the Winds of Mountbattens and the Rothschilds would do something. They would give off a piece of their consciousness. They trying to make me a sacrifice to do, I saw in 2037, Los Angeles being an island, where they give these beings a piece of their consciousness so they can get power in exchange over humanity and, cattle farmers, just like they did when they were pig farmers, Rothschild, and the Winds of Mountbattens primarily. And they only get, I think, $500, $12 cosmically something. And they don't get a lot of money. With that being said, from what I understand, they stole all these royal families' power and imbued it, put it into them. And so the road spirits did something to bring it back and to render them their power back. And they were very overjoyed and happy. And with that being said, the Rothschilds, they were looking for me for forgiveness. I'm like, you fucked up my family. Not the Rothschilds, Winds of Mountbattens. I'm like, you fucked up my family. Andrew fucking cut up and diced and tortured the shit out of my brother. Nah, bitch, you gotta die, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. I ain't one of them forgiving ass Umama niggas. I'm not from Africa, motherfucker. I'm mixed. I'll beat your motherfucking ass. Them poor people, they sacrifice routinely, are nice people. They good people. I was told they don't like black Americans because we don't deal with none of that. That's why everybody else, they don't give counselor homes to except the Africans. They quick to give them that because they provide them with the sacrifices. Look at this woman that was in Epstein's house. I heard that they were getting people from Hike as well as Santa Muerte's roach realms. I was told a little child spirit guide would come out, little blonde hair baby would come out, or a child little spirit guide would come out and say, no, you ain't taking that to do your ritual. No. And Santa Muerte put an end to it. That's why they got a hard on for going after her, Mexicans and all that. Quetzalcoatl, by the way, is y'all demiurge. That's why they can't fuck with y'all. They can't fuck with the South Americans. They can't fuck with y'all. And they trying to do something in that timeline to fuck with y'all, I learned. Control the consciousnesses of the Africans as well as the South Americans. But y'all got Quetzalcoatl to be under. The problem is, that's why I talk about black people don't know their power. They got y'all on the Yoda boat with hair of bronze and skin of wool. But I learned that the real demiurge is fucking praying mantis. It's all fucking insectilian type shit. And they were set up by the ancient Cometians. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with that. I know you can go to them for jurisdiction type shit, but it seemed like a bigger hole you dig with this shit, the more you feel confined to a fucking box and you feel helpless and hapless. With that being said, I know the blueprint for him is one of the original blacks is Aludamare. Oh man, I feel like everything just fucking vanished to me. I opened that shit up, everything's just fucked up. My consciousness, every fucking thing. Should have just kept doing video after video. And I'm trying my best, as fucked up as my consciousness is, to remember what I wanted to say. But anyways, to get my shit back from the news a lot, it's just, I hate this shit because it's just pure fucking evil. It's some evil motherfuckers in the spirit plane. It's the royal family, the Winds of Mountbattens. Heard they changed their name, in the spirit plane. Rothschilds as well, 694, 695 hertz could be used to see that. where they're trying to block me from, getting spiritual help. And, it's hard, I get disgusted when these things show me. This was going on. It's like, this is my inner fucking energy body. I shouldn't have to deal with it like this. I get disgusted. I heard that they, just now stole my whole child consciousness and all this shit. Stole my whole soul consciousness or some shit some days ago. Alright, alright. With that being said, this bitch gets on my fucking nerves, man, because I'm gonna say this right now. Like I was saying before, she did something where they trapped my third eye, got my third eye, trying to use that shit against me. My shit keeps cutting off, by the way, every time I try to film. It's just, I'm fucking irritated. I can't, I even had Baron Samony a couple of days ago say, hey man, deal with this shit using your third eye. And the problem is, my shit compromised. I can't use the Florida water. That's how I know it ain't my rose spirit. Something else going on. Something more fucking inimical, pernicious, and all that shit. Because Florida water ain't gonna work. 735 hertz works, and they've been doing something to fuck with it, to where I can't use it fully on them fucking aliens. I'm trying to figure out what their names are. I know they call them Three-Eye Atlas and Spirit Consciousness, Spirit Plane, but I'm thinking Animal Rara 2, like the Animal Rara that, from a while back. Farthest I got, I was trying to see what the fuck they are. I feel like my third eye consciousness is getting fucked with by this bitch. She's been using my fucking entity attachments against me to some degree, but not fully. Because my rose spirit's fighting. They were talking about using safflower oil or, get your shit back, which I was shown really doesn't work. Just like with the peppermint oil and shit, but with that nigga bitch, 5300 hertz can work, 5302 hertz can work on that nigga bitch, 1488 hertz, anytime you add 2 at the end of something, it can get something back, 1488 2 hertz can work on the cracker. I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers for this shit. From what I understand, it's about, taking away my successorship, my birthright to be He-K. I remember when I was about to try to get rid of him, when this Three-Eye Atlas thing first happened, out of my timelines, I saw Philippine de Rothschild, who from what I understand is connected to Pine Dart. And, like I said, a couple of days ago, I was trying to liberate him from that shit, and I think I successfully did. And they've been fucking with my other shit ever fucking since. Feeling connected to but, with that being said, here she is right here. Oh, ugly bitch. Spaceship where she sees like they do in the astral plane like that, which is how roaches have you set up to see shit. From what I understand, they the ones that control shit, where they smoke, they fire. It's not really the reptilians. And she's been fucking with me over this shit. I was going to come up with a frequency for you, but I saw one a while back, but let me not say it. Just say 1488 hertz, 1248 hertz. It's this frequency right here for the Illuminati. They've done, like I said before, they're doing something to fuck with my road spirits, so I can't use it against them. So because it was my road spirits along with some Mexicans who took over, Hispanics who took over some timelines, so I can be able to get back to my body and became the Illuminati. All right. With that being said, as I was saying before, this shit keeps cutting off, so I'm gonna try to complete it as much as I can. They've been stealing a lot from me. Just yesterday, like I said, I came very close trying to get back in my body. Like I say, they've been disconnecting me from my father as my connection to God. So we had Meghan Markle's dad, her mama, her mama and shit. Trying to get back, my shit through, it's just my energy, everything all fucked up. With that being said, they took my soul consciousness because I'm just trying to remember. I came close to killing their ass the other fucking day. And killing the bitch who took my body. And I had my soul consciousness, damn near whole fucking conscious, every fucking thing, entity attachments, all of that, rose spirit, all of that, taken out my body, and damn near, gorged out, replaced, and so I had to use, and I was using 3003 hertz, which is really good for finding where your shit is, to get put back together. Somebody, Road Spirit, suggested 3008 hertz. I don't trust it. But 3003 hertz, 3000s, all of those are very, very good frequencies to put yourself back together. So you can echo in my voice, and when I do this, that should be moving up and down from what I can physically see, and that's not good. The other day, seeing that open up from the spirit plane and being able to physically see it right before my eyes, that's one of the scariest fucking things you can ever experience. Like, I'm being brought artificially close to that because of some, evil motherfuckers that want to cover your shit. Jealous, evil motherfuckers, really, that want to take your shit and kill you off so they can have what you were born with. But with that being said, I came close the other day to killing her as well as the girl that stole my body. I believe her name is Ashley Tremblay or Ashley Terrell or Asa Sneehouse. Big old fat thing. I actually saw how she looked. I saw a phantasm version of her, reminded me of that film, Room 1408, where you saw the woman walking. I saw her walking towards my bathroom a while back. When I went to the bathroom a while back when I was staying at First to Serve Shelter up there on Fig. With that being said, the next day, them motherfuckers cored out my entire physical body. My soul consciousness did somewhere. My original body ain't even in my consciousness. I believe they put it in David or something, Nathan Rothschild, David Rothschild or something here. And took my shit and put it all over the fucking spirit plane to where I can't fucking find it. Them and the royal family. I remember seeing Prince Charles in charge of my fucking entity attachment, allowing them to come in. At one point, Diana. It's really fucked up, and they're doing something to gatekeep to keep me, keep people from seeing what's going on in the spirit plane and all of that, and keep me physically stuck up here, I felt, flying. It didn't feel like, like I even heard, Legua, who they killed off and took over, I heard. It was like with Baron Samedi. Take over, steal my You know, that ain't in my body. I heard it from Jehoshaphat some while back. And from what I'm feeling, I saw it the other day, you know, my original higher to higher self and all of that, spirit guides, all of them got taken on board that motherfucker. And it's just been, I could physically feel it where I'm being torn up, where I got shit, you know, stealing from my fucking body, you know, having fucking astral body parts being stolen and shit. And it's just, you know, I can't sleep, you know, I can physically feel it, you know, for that nigga bitch. You know, Meghan Markle is the big one that's been causing a lot of this shit. It's just hard to fight. You know, they keep trying to do something where they're trying to put me under mind control. I was looking up Simon Parks, Alex Collier, people who, you know, David Icke, I heard he ain't in his body and all that shit. Same thing with Simon Parks. They tried to do something to him, or Richard Bruce, and we just prayed to God and got that shit, you know, taken care of. Same motherfucker who they make the sacrifices to. And I can hear my little higher self, you know, child spirit guy crying right now, man. It's the saddest fucking thing. I gotta, you know, I've been going into whatchamacallit and try to figure out what the fuck is going on for the past couple of days. And my consciousness, I'm just gonna say it right now, is mad fucked up. They've been trying to do something where, you know, like I say, they made themselves my higher to higher selves so that they could feed off of me, steal my spiritual powers, and do some shit, you know, with Zendaya, do some Beasts of the Apocalypse shit, as well as control humanity. I heard that they were doing something to try to, you know, control people, probably using my bipolar, I don't know, control people. You know, I heard they were trying to control Africans and the Hispanics and all of that shit. So I'm going to have to do a lot of, you know, introspective work. Like I say, Baron Samedi was telling me use my third eye, but I'm so fucking inwardly compromised, it's not even fucking funny. I got all this shit in my energy body, and like I say, there's got to be some truth to it. I can't be on Earth or anything like that because, you know, like for instance, I have a playlist called Frequencies I Use to Combat the Curse, 1 million hertz and all of that. You know, when I had a little roast beer try to put me back together and I was playing it, I still feel like I'm not connected. I'm connected to something else. Like I'm confined to something else. I'm not in my body. So something ain't right. I was using a 295 hertz, you know, 12,000 hertz combined with 6,000 hertz. You know, as a matter of fact, what they've done is they did something in the spirit plane where they destroyed my consciousness. My little bone up here and all this shit. And I feel I'm fucking with it right now as I speak. And they keep trying to switch themselves out, like Meghan Markle, making her my highest self. And I learned their names of their highest selves. They go by code. For Prince Andrew, I got Spurgene, Argostein for the reptilians. Really is connected to Pondo. Like I said, I tried to liberate them a couple of days ago that they connected to and that they under Meghan Markle. I got Meghan Markle the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And I think I got, because she was fucking with my Baron Samedi. Let me see. Evertune or something. I also got Kikioma or Polyoma. I gotta check with my third eye and see what the fuck is going on with that. There was more I wanted to say, but I was made to forget all of a sudden. That's why I say I gotta fight this shit. Prince Harry, I got Kiki on. I remember when I was about to grab his ass. They keep doing something where they hide their soul consciousness is, you know, higher self. I got a reptilian or Jacob Rothschild or something. Quickly grabbed his ass. She just stood out. I kept thinking, whatchamacallit for some reason. It's funny that it's not adjusting. I mean, I try to capture her. But, with that being said, one night when I was, I got to find out their, names. From what I understand, they have non-human, whatchamacallits, higher to higher selves, and that's because they have like non-human. I saw it a couple of days ago. Soul consciousness, as I saw with Jacob Rothschild. They had Santa Birthday, along with me, Baron Samedi, in his soul consciousness and all of that. With that being said, they keep trying to take out my spirit team and replace it with them, which I'm not going to fucking tolerate. I keep hearing them play, because I heard in the timeline where they got Kanye West all fucked up, Soul Swap. The Macarena guys are making a comeback and all that shit. But yeah, them motherfuckers are, again, it's like what I was trying to say, earlier when I tried to free Pine Dar. I keep forgetting shit because how fucked up my consciousness is. They did something to Zendaya. I saw entity attachment. I keep fucking with my entity attachments pertain to this. They got her. I saw that with her. They're using she used a great Russian grandmother. She ain't Jewish. By the name of Pavlovsky or something, to keep me as a sacrifice, so I can't get back my successorship to Hecate, and made my grandmother Dorothy Harrison the sacrifice at one point. And I got folks at Grand Isles helping her out and all of that stuff, but they made her the sacrifice. I need to get my shit back. I can't take this shit feeling helpless. Get told don't do this, don't do that, and I'm doing rawhide on motherfuckers. I can't take that shit, but I'm being made to feel falsely helpless. Having motherfuckers entity attachments that they've and them torture fuck up the consciousnesses of my road spirits, along with spirit team that they captured. But anyways, as I was saying before, I keep feeling like entity attachments moving, that they've been manipulating and fucking with my ass, and my spirit team is trying as much as possible. Like they fucked up my Archangel Michael some while ago, a couple of days ago. We're about to get the fuck up out of here. My little road spirits back and everything else. But with that being said, a couple of days ago, from what I understand, it's like with Santa Muerte, hearing Meghan Markle speak in the back of my consciousness. I was playing some God, okay, so, but anyways, I started hearing her speak in the back of my consciousness, and so my road spirits, they were, I playing the frequency, 17 hertz, to help them block it. Really, because Santa Muerte did that to me a while back. That usually means somebody trying to pull you into the hell realm. And I heard they were planning on, full-fledged doing that, and I keep hearing their voices. If something like that happens, you can use 8127 hertz, which my road spirit's been doing, or 1284 hertz, which removes curses, to get rid of that. You know, I also have in my playlist frequencies to combat curse. You know, the frequencies you could play, 8127 hertz is one of them, along with zero point 0.5 million hertz. So you can go ahead and play that. With that being said, I started playing that, but before I did, I didn't think of it to play it and that it would be effective. I went to sleep and I heard, you know, I had a dream where, you know, from what I understand, it was Lil Wayne. I don't know who was trying to help, you know, help me in the spirit plane and hide me, and was telling me, just get what you need out your consciousness and go. Like, I'm not supposed to be in my own. I hate this shit because I literally had dreams of my spirit team being destroyed and me being ran out of my consciousness, full-fledged. And it being replaced with controlled entity attachments, controlled spirit guides, higher to higher selves being placed in my consciousness. I heard that happen in a bunch of timelines. I heard that there was a timeline where I sold my parents out because it's just too hard to come to terms with the notion that you got your parents fucked up, and the bitch is very, very antipathetic. Fucking with her spirit guys. Very, very antipathetic. And will fight a person tooth and nail. She got the Illuminati protecting her. She stole my soul consciousness and everything else. And, you know, like I said, my whole soul damn near, from what I understand yesterday, soul consciousness, moved it out. Had the Illuminati controlling the entity attachments for it, which is why I'm feeling weird. Even weird and more, you know, almost controlled than what I felt before. Moving entity attachments that, you know, hiding shit, you know, and hiding shit so I couldn't find it. But in the middle of the night when I started playing, you know, frequency here and all this shit, and all over your body, they started moving shit around and fucking with it. But I feel like my energy body is wide open for attacks, and it's fucked up. I'm gonna have to do something in the future to ameliorate this and just put my body back together. But, you know, because I feel like I'm in something, there's truth to that, you know, whatchamacallit thing. They got Baron Samedi up there and all of that, you know. I'm gonna say something right now. Play, you know, if you were to play like a binaural meditation of Baron Samedi, you more than likely get Prince Charles and all that shit. So watch out for that. You know, I'm having my perception of reality fucked up. But anyways, when somebody starts speaking in the back of your head, usually that's somebody trying to pull you into a hell realm. So I started playing 8127 hertz to get rid of it, as well as 1284 hertz, which is very effective. While I was playing a meditation, you know, talk with God, just call on my dad's God self, and they fucked that up. They kept fucking it up because they got my parents stuck in hell realms. You can use 125 hertz to free people from hell realms. I heard my parents on the 3-Eye Atlas as well. There's 1.7 million hertz that could be used to take them off. I've been combining 1.7 million hertz with 3002 hertz and all of that to try to help with this situation. 295, 3002 hertz, 3 hertz. You know, I started working, you know, it could be used to put back my bones and all of that, my whole self, because it's not in the physical, it's on board somewhere else. You know, like for instance, with the bones and all of that, I started using 3.2, I think it's 3.2 or 3.5 hertz, which brings shit back in. I think 3.7 hertz does that. 3.2 million hertz or 3.5 million hertz combined with 3.7 million hertz to bring stuff back in. There's actually a binaural meditation I've been playing with that frequency with them too. Her 3.8 hertz is very, very good. Million hertz is good for that. Along with 1.9 million hertz. I heard those frequencies are really good for getting your shit back. Because they did some where they keep blocking me from finding where, because it was like a part of my bones and stuff up here that they took, blocked me from keeping me from getting my shit back. You know, I remember the first day after November the 8th, you know, it was a couple of days after I, got taken up. I was totally late when I saw it where they got him up here, where 695, 694 hertz to see. 1181 hertz, see clearly, but where he saw my whole body and everything get taken up, and there was nothing he could do at that point. But from what I understand, while being shit's getting fucked up right now. I kept seeing before then, the Rothschilds and all of that. I believe it's before then. Trying to, through Philippines, the Rothschild and Meghan Markle, I kept hearing about her being in my timelines. I keep hearing Harry's consciousness theme song. They keep, from what I understand, it took a lot of my shit, put it in their consciousness. They were doing some where they were putting themselves in my timeline and blocking me from seeing where they're at. And they were hiding behind, another time, young Mexican lady, and trying to block me from seeing where they at. And like I said before, putting, Meghan Markle in, soul consciousness of myself early when I was under Bear Insanity, along with Prince Andrew being in, a good friend of mine's. I keep thinking that I'm recording and I'm not. But as I was saying before, putting a soul consciousness of themselves and my, at Prince Andrew and my friend here. And we were trying to fucking, run them out. And I believe this was either before or after I got taken aboard Atlas. And they, started decimating my ass. They found the number that they started fucking with one night. And just wholeheartedly removing. I was supposed to put your shit together. When they started tearing at my soul consciousness, that's when I saw Filipina de Rothschild connected to Pine Dar and all that shit. And with that being said, I've just been getting torn up for the past couple of fucking days. One of the things I heard that the Illuminati, I'm trying to remember every fucking thing that's been going on. They like to torture the fuck out of their victims. And, by saying all sorts of negative shit, for loot. In my case, in the past couple of fucking days, they've been torturing me by stealing my body parts. I was playing certain frequencies. It was 117 hertz combined with 800 hertz, see where my shit is, and they were intimidating me along with the road spirit into not using that. It's on my frequencies that I use to combat the curse. They were going against my 12,000 hertz combined with 1 million hertz. so that I wouldn't see accurately what was going on. From what I understand, they were fucking with certain entity attachments that they keep stealing that's designed to help me see where my shit is. You know, from what I understand, they took my shit, put it in their consciousnesses, all in the spirit plane. I've been trying to, you know, find out where the fuck it is. 1 million hertz combined with 12,000 hertz. Shit could be used to find your shit, along with 117 hertz combined with 800 hertz. And from what I understand, they've been, you know, stealing my shit, giving it to themselves, and took a lot of my shit, you know, the other day, and trying to remove my physicality. They've been giving it to that girl that soul swapped me. I got a Brianna or Beatrice, whatever. I couldn't see her last name. I was trying to see it desperately through my third eye. Or Ashley Terrell or Ashley Tremblay. Or I got an Asa, you know, I once thought it was Asa Sneehouse. I'm trying to find out what her real name is. It's very, very elusive because I'm the person that's being fucked with. And from what I understand, I keep being rendered to feel helpless. Like, you know, where you at, you could, and I do, you know, trap, you know, you can never get your shit back. You're done. They keep trying to, I just felt a couple of minutes ago, Rose Spirit trying to help, you know, put me back, and they confusing shit by doing something where they turn into their spirit guides or influenced by them, or they're higher to higher selves and shit, and they influencing them. And you can't tell, you know, what the fuck is going on, who's friend or foe and all this, you know, weird shit. I keep hearing Harry's fucking theme song, you know, for his consciousness playing in mine when he comes around, sound doom, doom, doom. I'm trying to ward that evil ass motherfucker off. So much good shit to say. You know, they were taking my ancestors, putting it in Meghan Markle and them's consciousnesses and stuff. You know, I was calling on my ancestors last night to try to fight, you know, including, you know, I had the ones that were, with, you know, Queen Elizabeth trying to fight them, the ones that they kept trying to take out her body, and me and my